All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave. I cover the Bears for SM. I'm joined by my good friend, co-host Ficky. You can follow him on all socials at It's Ficky Baby. Training camp, we are about week one's almost pretty much over here. We're 4 practices in. It's been a really good week. We're going to go ahead and show some highlights. We're going to go ahead and discuss it all. I think there's just so many storylines just from camp. Also, the offseason Hard Knocks with the Giants. There's been a lot of good clips. Ficky, you were sharing
Fantastic.
that.
Can we just talk about how great that Hard Knocks is? And will a team ever sign up for that type of will that continue? Because it is so in depth and so behind the scenes that I bet every GM out there is like, absolutely not. You know what I mean?
So I think you're right. I think teams will probably look at it similar to how they do training camp Hard Knocks, right? The Bears have looked at that as a something they do not want and have not wanted for many, many years. And sometimes the NFL is just gonna be like, hey, here you go. You know, you got to take it. Yeah. And I think it's a really good time for the Bears. But I think that's going to be the case with this offseason Hard Knocks. However, although there's a lot, revealed, especially with like the Saquon Barkley negotiations, talking about how Saquon revealed, hey, early on this year that there was no offer. And then this show revealed there was an offer. So I think there's good things. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of maybe some bad. It really depends how honest you are, right? From an organization standpoint. So as far as revealing, at least in that year, if you are on Hard Knocks for the offseason, you got to be transparent.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's going to be revealed later on.
Honestly, hot take here. This year, I may have wanted Hard Knocks front office. Like, I'll be happy about training camp, don't get me wrong. But this year was like, you would have got the Keenan Allen trade you saw out of nowhere. You would have had a lot of the breakdowns in free agency because we signed a lot of big names. You would have had the draft, which we haven't even had that episode yet. So everything building up to that, I don't know. And you get your quarterback. It would have been, it would have been a fun one. It would have been a fun one.
It is fun, but I think it is awesome that we have the ability to see Rome. Right, we have a comment here from Mr. James on YouTube talking about Dable.
Dable
getting putting his feet. He's talking with Rome Odunze and his feet are on the table. Like, show some respect, for wide receiver one. But I think it's cool to see Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze go apart or be a part of another team's draft process. Right, you could see Rome being so high on the Giants, and we'll get to that later. We have that to talk about. It was actually on one of our topics, one of our segments here. But then, of course, you could see a couple weeks ago, Caleb Williams, right, on the whiteboard. Those moments, I think it's cool to see just even from an outside perspective, outside the Bears and Ryan Poles, because, like you said, there can be some bias there. So, anyways, enough. We'll get to the Hard Knocks in a moment. Ficky, Caleb Williams, let's jump right into it. Hell of a week for him. I think there's been a lot of good, which is, I want to preface this. With Justin Fields and with Mitch Trubisky, right, there has been, and even before that, you can go back a while. Training camp is not easy for Bears quarterbacks typically. And then when you bring in the rookies, right, a rookie season, a rookie quarterback always struggles unless they don't get snaps like Fields and even Mitch. But for me, Caleb Williams coming in here, and we're going to get to the details here in a moment, show some highlights and everything. But from everything we've seen, everything we've heard, I think it's almost unanimous. And even like Dan Whittier from the Tribune,
who's normally negative, said one of the most positive reviews I've ever seen on a Bears quarterback. And it just goes to show you that this kid, I really do believe he's the real deal. So, Ficky, are you surprised 1 to 10 at how how smooth of a transition Caleb Williams has kind of moved into in week 1 of training camp? And I know the pads aren't on, so take all this with a grain of salt. But 1 to 10, how surprised are you? I would say 7, right? And that's because of one reason that we have not seen with a lot of the past quarterbacks. You just mentioned something, right? You said Mitch, Justin, they didn't get snaps. Like they did not come in and they were not the first quarterback. Why was that? Because in the offseason, they went and got people like Mike Glennon, right? They got people like Andy Dalton, right? And you had Nick Foles. So you had veteran quarterbacks in here that, from the optics, it typically, like, they're the ones who get the snaps first. That's why you bring in the veterans, right? Because you're trying to ease in your rookie quarterback. No. Not the case here. Caleb Williams came in. They asked Flus, is Caleb competing for the job? Flus said, absolutely not. This is his team. He's quarterback one. So I think that, if we're going to compare apples to apples, that's the first time, like, what's different from the past ones, not even looking at the player, but just the process. It's that this guy comes into this position and knowing that, look, I don't have to worry about not getting enough reps. I don't have to worry about, working with the twos. I don't have to worry about fighting for my job. No, this is my team. If I mess up, it's on me. That's fine. But like, at least that everything around is in place for you to thrive in that situation. So, I mean, I'm happy to see it because I think that was kind of one of our concerns going into the offseason was like, is Caleb once we drafted him, is like, are they going to get a veteran quarterback on a low end deal, bring him in here, veteran minimum, and have Caleb sit behind him, right? Not necessarily sit behind him, but like you always got that question of like, is he going to start week one? And I'm just glad you don't have to deal with that in any sort of way. It's just like, this is your team.
I agree with all that. I think that's a really good point in regards to just that's what happens when you give a guy everything, all the reps, like you said. My question for you, Ficky, did you give me a rating there? I can't remember.
I think a 7.
A 7. Okay. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna go with an 8, just a little bit higher. I just thought, with this defense, when you factor in again without pads, I think they come on Friday, right? And then Saturday. But for me personally, I have never seen, and maybe I'm just like so surprised here. I thought there was going to be a little bit of like some growing pains, and maybe they're going to come, right?
Yeah.
But just to be able to battle back and battle with a top 10, some people are saying top 5 defense that the Bears have right now. I just think it's something we haven't seen before. So like, I'm almost like, kind of pinch me a little bit because like I said, with Dan Reeder and almost everybody, Adam Johns, all these guys that have been around the Bears for many, many years, some even more than us, haven't seen a guy process the way Caleb's processing. And then also basically his pocket presence and the way he manipulates and steps up. There's a clip here we'll show in a little bit of him just stepping up into the pocket, right? Something so subtle that most teams are probably like, oh, Joey B does this all the time. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, we get it. What is this? Nothing special. But when you're a Bears fan, this is kind of something that is almost like a shock at first, seeing a guy navigate, hold on to the ball with, that's one of my favorite moments here when we'll show the video is where he is stepping up into the pocket, right? But he's the ball control, right? Ball security, 2 hands on it. He's kind of dipping his shoulder and then he steps up and makes the throw. So for me, it's like these little things that we just did not see with, I'll bring it up with JF, Justin Fields. You didn't see that over 3 years. And it was just hit or miss. So for me, I think an 8's probably reasonable. I really want to see it with pads.
Of course.
Especially I think that's going to be huge. The fact that we have a game here in 8 days is unreal as well.
Wow.
So,
but I think you make a good point, and I think the bar has been so low, which is fair. That because I still think Caleb's going through there's still some up and downs, right? It's not like this is a perfect prospect. You know what I mean? Every practice isn't perfect, nor should it be, right? That's not how you learn. That's not how you grow. But I think he's having growing pains. It's just the frequency of the growing pains versus the frequency of big plays, right? Or making the right reads. It helps it out. So in essence, it's not a full day of bad practice. Caleb will throw an interception. He's thrown, I think, 2 this week, I believe, and almost threw one yesterday that Jack Sanborn dropped. But he also had 2 bombs yesterday, right? He's had some really nice tight throws, stepping up into the pocket. It's like there's a mix of it to where it's not, you're so concerned that these reporters who are at all these practices are walking away being like, the defense won today. Guess what? The defense won today. Oh, did you hear? The defense won today. That's that's what we're so used to. And finally, it's more like a mixed bag, which is very, very optimistic, I would say.
I think you're 100% right. I think that's why it's just almost a little confusing to not see the defense, because I've just been so used to, even go back to Mitchell Trubisky 2019, right? Heading into the 100th, season, right?
Ugh.
It's just it's dud after dud. You're like, why? So the offense is behind. We get that. We understand that. But then it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month into training camp. and the offense is still struggling. That's where you get really concerned. And for the fact that you have a rookie quarterback, and I understand you gave him all the reps, they've known they were going to go this direction for many, many months. They jumped the gun. They brought him in. They've done such a good job at really acclimating him, and then of course surrounding him with talent. But even on Wednesday, Ficky, he's out there. He's balling. He's throwing, this ball, I think, to Tyler Scott here. And DJ Moore and Keenan Allen both kind of were out. They had a vet day basically where they're just kind of chilling, right? Was DJ out there or no?
No,
I think he was
DJ
out.
was out. No, DJ was out. DJ was on the field. Keenan had a vet day with Mercedes, I think.
But I think in the red zone, he did not have DJ.
No, that might be fair. Yeah. I think DJ practiced,
like
but Keenan was out completely. I don't think he practiced.
I think DJ was limited. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just saying the fact that he's having, Keenan, for instance, just having him out alone, and Rome Odunze, I don't think they're ramping him up. He looks really good. Looks good out there. But for me, just to be able to do what he's doing, even with a weapon out, right? That's where it was like with Justin and Mitch, like almost everything had to be right for him. And I know Justin kind of got a bad hand here in Chicago as far as weapons go, but like Caleb sometimes doing this without, two guys out there, in the red zone and making plays, making things happen. I think it's just impressive, especially just from a rookie quarterback. So I'm excited. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you should be. And I say before you play that clip, I want to say what I think that another thing that is very important that isn't talked about as much. And you heard Flus talk about it. Tevin Jenkins talked about it when he was asked about it. But if you go back to the years of previous quarterbacks, right? There were so many times where the reports would be like, oh my gosh, so many penalties today. The offense didn't look in sync. False start. You know what I mean? It was like the little things. I'm not even talking about like plays being made, but just how like sloppy and not put together the offense is. Tell me, have you seen a report I know it's early. We're 4 days in, but have you seen a report about any of that happening, any sloppiness and things like that? I personally haven't. And when they asked Flus about it, Flus said, oh, he came, like that was his most impressive thing, was like he came back like way further ahead when it comes to cadences and calling the huddle, breaking the huddle and things like that. And Tevin Jenkins, I think someone asked him like, it was kind of an issue during OTAs, obviously a new quarterback learning that. And they asked if that was still an issue now. And Tevin said, absolutely not. That's been handled. So just hearing that portion, which is just the foundation of the offense. That's even before you can hike the ball. Having that down this early for a rookie quarterback, I have not seen with the past two quarterbacks, at least from my memory. It seems like most of the reports were like things are still choppy. And like you said, weeks in, like 2 or 3 weeks in, it's like, oh, they're still trying to figure out this, this offense, trying to call them hike the ball and things like that. And it's just like, it's refreshing to not have to worry about that.
I think that's a very, very good point. Something that, I'm glad you brought it up, because the only reason I've seen it brought up is praise, right? You have Eberflus, you have Tevin, you see these guys, there's no negative. Like you wouldn't have heard about it, but the fact they're bringing it up in a positive light, it does showcase you. Like typically we have a few tweets by now where it's like, oh, here we are, sloppy, right? And then you get like 70 quotes on a tweet and you get 67 replies. It's just negative, right? Yep. Now I have seen, a bad snap or two. I'm not going to lie in regards to the center position. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but I am really, really excited about that. I need to see it in preseason as well. I need to see these guys.
Of course.
Like
it's early.
I want to see it in action, right? I do, but it is early, but it's hard. Like you said, even with Caleb and how he's been able to command the offense and make big plays and kind of put pressure on this defense early, and battle against not a veteran defense, but they've been together for 3 years. Some of these guys, that is not easy to do. We've seen a lot of people, not even just Bears quarterbacks, but other quarterbacks struggle coming into the league, especially in the beginning of camp where the defense is so typically ahead. So for me, all in all, totally agree with you, Ficky. I think it's a great point. I think the line has actually been really good. Nate Davis, number 69 here, I believe, right? Or is he 67?
He's 67. I think 69 is JT, right? God, I can't remember.
Perhaps. I have to bring it up here. But anyways, Nate Davis is here, right? He may not be right here in this clip, but the fact that he is here, another really awesome highlight. And he's been present every single day. Also, he has been 100% full participant. So let's go ahead and go through some of these clips here. turn off that music. But this one is to DJ Moore over the middle. I think this is the one where he climbed his pocket, right?
Yeah, no, I think there was another one he did, right? And by the way, Tito came in here. 64 is Davis. Thank you. Yeah, I think 69
he climbed
is
the
JT.
pocket a little bit here.
Good.
Yeah,
still good throw. He look at DJ stretched out there.
Yeah.
Let's see what this one's.
And then this one is the pick actually from I believe it was from Tyreek Stevenson. What a play. Very, very excited about him and what he's going to do in year.
Yeah, I think he's a potential breakout candidate for sure. Second year. I mean, he had a pretty decent rookie season. 4 interceptions last year.
He started off slow. He had that really bad taunting penalty or taunting penalties in back-to-back games where he kind of got flagged. So it was kind of like becoming like a rocky start, just kind of getting.
It was.
He was getting burnt a little bit, but then he kicked it up into high gear, man, and it was an impressive final eight games, I would say, with Tyreek Stevenson. I don't have the numbers on me. I think we went over, on our end of season breakdown, but he is a huge candidate to be just so good. Here's another one. This one's real quick out. I just love how the release is so quick. A little high, but Keenan Allen, he brings it in. Love to see that. Again, I'm ready to see these pads on, dude. But I just love how smooth Caleb is when it comes to just getting that ball out. I mean, that's his. And no disrespect to any of the past quarterbacks, because everyone, like, some have more strengths in other areas than others. But like I don't know what it is, but his release looks so clean. Maybe that's recency bias. I don't know, but doesn't it? It's like butter, bro, and it's quick. Ficky, it's the first thing I noticed when the season, not even the season, during the end of the 2023 season, when it started to realize, like, okay, there's a possibility Bears are really they're locking in this number 1 pick. And then Justin, he had to really go crazy down the stretch to really change people's minds. And obviously he did not. But anyways, you start to watch Caleb more and more. Everyone did, especially this podcast. And that was the first thing I noticed. It was effortless. His screen, the way he can get a ball out during a screen pass, so accurate. And again, I think it's hard not to, the final or the past quarterback, Justin Fields, it was hard not to compare, and it still isn't, how different, because Justin, it was so erratic. It would just be a screenplay, and it's like, it hit the ground, right? Like 3 feet before it hit DJ Moore, or it's like 2 feet to the left of DJ Moore, and he's either having to haul it in and he gets hit hard, or, loses a couple yards. It was so sporadic. And it even last year, the first preseason game where DJ Moore took it to the house, that first screenplay in preseason. Yeah, I remember that. Remember? It was like it was almost like foreshadowing, right? Of what the season was going to be when it comes to many fucking the screens. But anyways, it's just that ball was low and a little bit behind DJ. Now, of course, he made it happen, being the yak god that he is. But overall, it's just like, that's how clean Caleb is when it comes to some of these passes. So,
you know what, too? Because I know some people probably upset that, we're doing a comparison, but this is the nature of it, right? But I don't want to talk. It's not that Justin was a horrible quarterback or anything like that. Dude, but there's something that we haven't talked about. It sparked something. So I was like, oh, what about Justin that we won't see with Caleb? And that's like his running ability, obviously, right? But Caleb can break the pocket and run. But we really haven't seen or really heard anything other than I know the Bears just posted something.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I saw that one, but we haven't heard any reports, which is probably a good thing, because that means he's in the pocket, passing, you know what I mean, instead of running. But I wonder, in game day, is there going to be a couple plays where let's say he breaks loose and gets 15 yards? Do you think you'll be like, man, if that was Fields, that's to the house?
So if you would have asked me beginning of last year, I would have said absolutely. But Justin was kind of contained last year. I don't know why. It was just odd to see him not break off those wild runs that he did in 2022.
Yeah, he had high yardage games, but he didn't have big breakaway runs.
No, I think Caleb is sneaky, dude. I think he is unreal when it comes to some of the things he can do.
He was at USC. That boy could even Oklahoma.
But I think we're going to see more of a Patrick Mahomes-esque type runner where it's like, if it's the fourth quarter and they, it's they need a big play and he needs a couple more extra yards, or he's going to maybe try and make a person miss. I think it's going to happen more likely in the fourth, where the game is in the balance. More so in the first drive of the game, where it's like, Justin, you saw him run, and I love seeing Justin go. It was one of the more. It was so fun. Awesome. It was electric. But for me, I think Caleb. I think his scramble is going to be insane. His scramble drill, where it's like he can either make it 20, 30-yard completion, or I think he can rip off a 20, 30-yard run that easily, because he is very, very athletic. I think his run multiplier from he just makes the Bears running game I'm not as good as Justin, because I think he's the best in the league, maybe outside of Lamar, but I think Caleb could easily be top 5. I really do.
I think you made a good point, right? And is that Fields a lot of times, sometimes he had to run just to run for his life, right? Caleb runs to pass, and I think Fields sometimes says, "Oh, there's an opening here. I'm running because nobody can catch me." And that's nothing against, I'm not saying that's the right or wrong way, because no one could catch Fields. If I was Fields, I would do the exact same thing, because no one could catch you. So, but I think you're going to see, because Caleb did that at USC. He would evade, and then he would run, and then he would throw this crazy arm angle or crazy crossbody or jump throw to the sideline, and it'd be like a crazy highlight reel, right? He was always looking down the field. So I feel like there might be some situations where we're like, oh, he's taking off, and we're automatically be like, oh, there's the first down right there. And little do we know, we don't see that he sees Keenan Allen or Roma Dunze on a deep post across the field, and he just chucks one for like a 35-yarder. So it'll be interesting to see the different types of movement, you know what I mean, in the pocket.
Well, and speaking of movement, this is the clip I was talking about that we kind of brought up earlier about him. We haven't really seen him run. This is the Bears social media team posted this with the caption "Ka-chow" from, I guess, Lightning McQueen. Yeah, and I believe awesome. I think the reason they said it too is Caleb, didn't he have a sticker or something? Ka-chow, or he said something, or he had a video.
Sounds like something he would have.
Yeah. Anyways, long story short, you see him running here, and I think this is the style and the runs we're going to see, where it's like, you can see he can kind of move. He gets out there and run. He even has the ball, which I don't know. He looks like a very, very, effortless runner. Not Justin Fields-esque, but we've seen it in on his tape. But for here, I think these are the runs where it's like, okay, there's nobody open. I'm just going to go pick up the first down. And the fact you have a quarterback with the caliber arm that he has that can still do that, that's where it becomes where Justin Fields, you kind of heard almost, you wanted to call him a dual threat quarterback, but I believe Caleb is really, truly one of those dual threats where he can kill you with his arm, and he can break a defense's back when it comes to we called the perfect defense. We called the perfect scheme, even have a spy on him, and he's still going to pick up 5 to 10 yards potentially because he can make a man miss. And then also that speed, which is sneaky. So what were you saying, Ficky?
I was going to ask, do you think how about this? First game of the year, right? Over under 1.5 design runs, quarterback runs. You know what Fields, that's an over. You're getting at least 3 to 4. What do you think?
Man, no, I don't think. I think it's under. I don't think they're going to run them.
I think so too.
I really don't, man. I don't think we're going to see a lot of. Even when it comes to. Even in Seattle, when they had Shane over there with Geno is kind of a sneaky runner, right? I would say.
Yeah, he can move.
Kind of. I know he's a little older, but he can move. They never ever ran anything. I know he's a little bit older, but maybe that's different.
You know what a good example would be? Looking at Shane, and maybe I'll go back and see. Shane Waldron had 1 year with Russell, I'm pretty sure. And Russell, we know, can move. And he's definitely had design runs before. That's not a lot. But I wonder if Shane Waldron ever did a design run with Russell Wilson in his tenure. I know he was a little bit older, a little bit past the peak, but still, Russell can still move. So that'll be something. I'll take that as some homework and see if I can find an example. So.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't do design runs for Mahomes typically, and no. I know Caleb is not. He hasn't proven it yet, but I think that he's in that category where you want him. He can kill with his arm, and I don't think his arm is better than his legs. And
absolutely,
that's what I'm saying. So it's
no question.
His best weapon, although his legs are great, and it's awesome to see him pick up those. That's what I'm saying. It's all those legs are going to be the ones where it's like I said earlier, it's going to break a defense's back where it's like they call the perfect coverage, right?
I agree with
and
you.
He's still either buys time and scramble drill. Either way, I feel like they're going to utilize his arm because it's that special. And I don't think
they should. Why would you invested so much into this man? Why would you run him? Do not run him.
That's the danger, man. If he's not Fields, where Fields even got hurt. Caleb, if you run a design run, he can get lit up. He could land on his. It just so many things can go wrong. For me, it's like, nah, man, it's not even worth it. So maybe one, and maybe it's in the end zone where he's trying to
that's a little different. Yeah, boot, push, something like that. That's different. But I'm thinking like more of like we're on our own 40. You know what I mean? You'll see a QB
real quick,
something.
Vicky, I don't know if you've seen it. Tito just gave us a super chat here. Let's go ahead and get to that, and we'll finish up with Caleb.
Tito, our man right here with the $20 super chat. Really do appreciate that, Tito, a true OG in here. He said, with these weapons, no way Caleb Williams fails. We need a few things in the trenches, but when the game is on the line, I'd rather have a QB who can throw the ball down the field than run. Didn't work for Lamar in the AFC Championship game. I mean, you got a point. I would rather have someone. It's a quarterback. You got to throw the ball. I'd rather your skill, your strength be your arm than your legs. It just seems like we might have someone who has a little bit of both, So thank you, Tito, though. Really appreciate the support like always.
Unreal, Tito. Unreal. I appreciate it, man. You've been in the chat. I know he's excited for the season, and we appreciate the support,
Who is
dude.
it? Yeah, we do appreciate it, though, Tito.
It's hard not to be excited. It's not hard. It's really hard to be, I guess, to contain the excitement just with everything that's going on. We're like what, less than 9. We're 9 days out from our first episode of Hard Knocks, and we're seeing these guys everywhere.
It's gonna hit like
which
crack,
is hilarious.
Bro. That episode
did you
is
see
gonna hit like crack? We're stretching.
Yeah, DJ
and the boom mic's all right in there.
Yeah,
like what are you?
What
audio you possibly catching?
Yeah, and real quick, back to the Roma Doomsday. So this is the Hard Knocks episode. Yep, Mr. James on YouTube. Someone needs to tell Dable to take his damn feet off the table.
Yo, to be fair,
absolutely hilarious.
He's like that through. He's like that through every episode. Dable is on that couch, like chilling every time he's in Joe Shane's office. It's hilarious. So
it truly is, dude. I love this. It cracks me up. Now, I know we talked a lot about the quarterback. That's just simply the nature of the beast here. So we're going to go ahead and get to a couple Hard Knocks clips here in a little bit. But I want to go ahead and talk about just some roster bubbles here. I know it's first week, Ficky. I want to go ahead and go through just name a player or two that you believe could already be or is going to be, a possible cut. And hopefully not on Hard Knocks, but I bet one of those are at least coming. Those surprise cuts where they get it on, and where they film it and everything. But what are you thinking? Because the reason I bring it up, I have a really good question to ask you after you kind of maybe give me your answer here.
That's kind of tough. Like, I think if someone gets cut, it's most likely from the wide receiver room. Because DNs, you need all the help you can get. Not Scott. It'd have to be afterwards. So is Webster?
Well, let me bring it up here because I feel like Scott has been one of the diamonds.
Right. So I don't think
of this
he's
training
cut.
camp. Well, it's early. It's early. I mean, pads aren't
true.
on. But I mean, the guy is making play after play, day after day.
He's wide receiver 4, right? So, like, obviously your 3 are locked in, obviously, right? There's going to be a time where one of them is injured or something happens. That's just the nature of this violent sport. You need a wide receiver 4. I think Scott's locked that in. I think Velus is locked in for 2 reasons. He's going to get used in the backfield and special teams for kickoff. So you've got now technically 6 wide. That's 5 wide receivers, right? Normally they go 6. Some teams go 7. So like maybe one fits that, and then who doesn't gets cut off, right? Typically when you see a lot of cuts, it's going to be like your 4th guy on the offensive line, like down the depth chart, and then you see like wide receiver 6 or 7, and then you normally see running back 4 or 5, right? Because they bring in a lot of running backs, they bring in a lot of linemen that can move around for versatility on both sides, offense and defense, and then they bring in a lot of wide receivers and corners too. So I think it's got to be from one of those. I know that's like most of the positions I named, but I think like linebacker, probably not that many cuts. Safety, probably not that many cuts. But yeah, if I had to pick a position group, it's probably going to be someone on the wide receiver. And I think what is Pettis, right? Pettis is still there. You have Webster as well, Simba.
Yeah.
So I would have to probably go one of those two. And I think we won't have a good gauge of that until we start to see how they perform on in preseason.
Okay. No, I agree with you. I think Tyler is almost a lock right now. Perhaps, but I think Bayless as well. So you pick, that's your 5. The reason I brought it up is because I was seeing the running back room, right?
Oh, I know where you're going.
Khalil Herbert. Is this man going to get traded? I know he's made a couple plays in camp. And I know the pads aren't on. But it's like, for me, right, Swift signing is big. Roschon Johnson in year 2. They have Travis Homer, I think, still on the roster.
Yeah, so they have 4. They have 4 running backs right now. They got
and
Swift.
Then you got Khalil Herbert, who's probably running back 2, right? Or you could argue, is he going to be 3?
Right now so while you're doing that, I was pulling up the official Bears depth chart on NFL.com, and Khalil is actually 3rd. Now, that's NFL.com. That's not the Bears website. So I don't know how official that is, but you got DeAndre, then Roschon, then Khalil, then Travis. I think those are your 4 running backs coming in. It is highly possible that Khalil is let's put it this way. He is a trade candidate piece. He's coming to his last year of his deal, right? You know how running backs are. They get, once you have 3 or 4 years under, they get rid of him and get a new one. So it's very possible that this is his last year or last couple months on the team before he's shipped out. Especially if you're running back 3. Because Roschon's a better pass protector than Khalil. And DeAndre Swift's a better pass catcher than Khalil. What is Khalil the best out of those 3? And I like Khalil. I'm just saying, like, if you're thinking like putting your GM hat on, it's very possible that he's going to make the team, but he could get shipped out of here pretty easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then while you're looking at those, I want to bring up the wide receivers. Oh, so this depth chart is definitely not official. It is. Okay, never mind. So right now you have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, pretty easy, right? Then it goes Tyler Bayless. We talked about that. Then it goes Dante, DeAndre Carter, Simba Webster.
And don't sleep on
Johnson.
Carter either.
True. DeAndre Carter could make the team easily. So I think you're basically, and then anyone after that, you're not making the team. So basically, I'm thinking it's between Dante, Simba, and Carter. And if they go 7, they keep 2. If they go 6, they keep 1. So out of those 3, I mean, it's not like anyone stood out crazy in camp that you're like, oh, it's most likely going to be this person. I think, we're only a week in. We got to see more and see how they perform in preseason. And you know what's crazy too? Not to go on a little rant here, but preseason as well, like how you play in games is important for coaches, but we've seen it where players ball out in preseason, right? And then they get cut. There's always someone on the Bears every year. And it's not just the Bears, other teams, but there's like a preseason breakout player. And you're like, holy cow, this guy's making plays left and right. And he gets cut. Because obviously the coaches have way more information about the player, age, you know what I mean? How developed they are versus their peers, a bunch of that stuff that goes into it, right? How they are.
I think it also has to do with the talent on the roster. Because a couple of years ago, right, it was, you could walk in and make this team, essentially. You could walk on. It was depleted of talent. You go into this camp, it's different. You can feel it. You see it. These names, it's going to be tough, man, to get the 53-man roster. I think that's going to be a hell of a task. And that's a good thing, though. That's at the end of the day, it's a good thing.
What about this comment here? Herbert's better than Swift or Roschon. Do you think? Would you?
So I think Herbert. I think he is. I was seeing it. I think it was on Twitter. There's just some debate about Herbert, and I really like Herbert. I don't think he has that burst that elite burst. But like as far as his vision, I think he has better vision than Swift. I think he's a better pass catcher, or he's a better pass catcher than like we give him credit for. Swift is very, very good.
Very good.
Tier.
Yes.
That's why he brought him in. And you're seeing it already in camp as far as him just getting those touches. But for me, Herbert, I also think I think his jukes, like his change of direction might be even better than Swift sometimes. Like the film is the film. And I think Herbert is a very good back. And I think he may feel, hey, send me somewhere else. Like, let me prove it. Because I think he's in year 4 of his rookie deal.
Year 3, I think.
Are you sure?
Actually, I'm not. You could, if you want to double check.
Let me look it up real quick. I just think I'm nervous, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love the depth because you need it. You saw it last year. But
you know what? It's the modern NFL. Like you know what's weird? The Bears on offense they find good running backs. They do. I still think of the Jordan Howard days from my alumni, IU. I love Jordan Howard. And I was so hurt when he left. But then we just find another running back that comes in.
He fell off so quick.
He did. Once he left us, for sure. He was crazy on the Bears.
He went to Philly.
Fine. Right. And he didn't ever bounce back. But I think the point is like
nuts.
It sucks to kind of put these running backs as throwaways because they're not. It's a very important position that gets beat up all the time. But the data shows that like because of that wear and tear over time and the sport being so violent, they start to fall off after like age 26, 27, right? So like it's almost of an expectation.
Herbert's.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
I was gonna say, so it's almost like expected that, you know, even if he's not like it's hard to see a lot of these running backs get second contracts with the same team. Even the good ones don't even do that nowadays. That's the whole Saquon thing. Is Saquon after his rookie deal was like, I deserve to get paid, which he does.
Yeah.
And he went somewhere else.
But you kind of saw it this offseason where there was a market for those running backs, for Swift, for Barkley, for a bunch of these guys. So Herbert is in year 4. He was drafted in 2021. He's in year 4. Next year, he's an unrestricted free agent. And his base salary right here is just $1 million. His cap is $1 million this year. Anyways, long story short, it got me thinking because I'm like, I'm pretty high on Herbert. Trying to understand where the rest of the league maybe sees him. I don't know. I think is it a crowded running back room? I don't think so. I think it's I think it'd be silly. I think it'd be dangerous to let him go, in my opinion.
Well,
so either way, I was just trying to think of roster.
No, I was going to say, because there's one thing that, and I think our future guest that we're going to be talking with Marcus, when he did his deep dive, he was talking about how, and we know this, Roshan is not a great pass blocker, right? And we've known that for a good amount of time. And because of that,
or Herbert.
Oh, not Roshan. Thank you.
Oh,
Herbert.
Bro, you had me tripping. I was like, what do I know? Do I know anything about this game?
My bad. I meant Herbert.
Okay.
And because of that, he's like third down, he's not going to be on the field. So your first down, you're probably not going to be the running. Well, it depends on the drive, right? In the series and how, how the game goes. But you're losing third downs automatically. You are not on the field because you cannot block. So if that is improved this year, it may improve, obviously, his chances of being on this team. But even still, I just think that like it's kind of written that fourth year running back, you've never really been the starter unless you're going to take a cheaper deal, which I would highly not expect that. He's probably going to hit the market. So because of those reasons, he's a very high possible trade candidate. Who knows when that may be? So that was a great point, though. I think you're spot on with that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We have also another thing I want to bring in is the center position. We'll get to maybe roster bubble during training camp, or later in training camp, especially during perhaps Hard Knock episodes where because first of all, for the people that are watching for the first time, we go live once a week, twice during the season, but we're going to be doing full episode recaps right after they appear. So I believe it depends how late these ones are. Either way, we're going to be going through the episode, everything that we saw, everything that made us laugh, some of the fun stuff, some of the maybe drama that might occur. Hopefully not, but there's going to be some storylines no matter what, no matter how hard they try, it's going to become news. So, but we're going to have fun with each episode, kind of discussing it, overviewing. It's going to be like basically like what is it? TV reviews, basically.
Yeah,
those movie channels,
yeah.
TV channels, whatever. But the center position is interesting. So they've been rotating Coleman Shelton, and Ryan Bates, and right? Am I correct here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Bates and Coleman Shelton.
First I'm thinking it was Jeff Bates. I have no idea. I thought I got it wrong for a second.
No,
Ryan Bates typically has been starting. I think he was starting yesterday, but Coleman Shelton and those have been rotating. It is a competition. They made that known. I find it a little concerning here, Ficky. I wanted to bring it up and see what you thought. Ryan Bates is a guy they've eyed, right, for a while. At least Ryan Poles has. They finally get him. And now he's not even, and maybe it's the wrong word here, like he's not able to just, I'm a little concerned that he's not locked in this position. And maybe they're just trying to, no stone unturned here, but I'm just nervous at that center position, call it, PTSD over the last 100%. Few years, but it's like, can we not just have a guy that is the guy? It's similar to like you want a quarterback, you just want the guy to be the guy.
I was about to say,
can we not have a freaking center,
like
dude? Like I like that they're rotating him, figure it out. But for me, they're 2-2. So last 4 days of practices, it's been Shelton and Bates they're just rotating. First day was Bates, second day Shelton, and so forth. And it's the full practice.
I think it's very intentional, though. If you listen to how Flus was, I can't remember exactly which day it was, but he was talking about like with these positions where it isn't a set in stone, starter. They have a schedule, they have a plan to where they're going to put people in those certain positions and move people around.
I guess that's better than past regimes.
Right. So it's more of if we're getting, I know it's early. I get it though. I know your frustration. I 100% agree with. It would just be nice to be like, this is our starting center. 100%. I agree. But I do want to give it just a little bit more time. Because I trust the regime and their process as well. You're hoping that like they're just really, we talked about it last episode. It's syllabus week for them. So maybe they just giving it enough time to kind of figure out who runs the offense well, how the continuity is with the other offensive linemen, how the call outs are for a center, all that type of stuff.
So we have Braxton Jones at left tackle, Tevin Jenkins left guard, Ryan Bates at center, Nate Davis right guard, Darnell Wright. That's likely the starting five. Yeah. The center position, perhaps you can even Nate Davis is going to start. I like what I'm seeing from him. I love it. Then you got Larry Borum, Karan Amagaji, Matt Pryor, the tackles. And then you have Coleman Shelton, Jatari Carter. People forget about him. Doug Kramer as well, still on the roster. Jake Curran, Avante Collins. And then, of course, you got some guys that I'll be honest, I don't even know. I haven't really seen Bill Murray. And then Theo Benoit, who's the rookie, I believe. Yes. Anyways, long story short, it's not a bad offensive line. I'm just a little worried when it comes to that center. So we'll see. I think it'll be
you know what? That one's probably got the best depth, though. At least you have two starting, and they may not be great, but you have two starting centers compared to some of these, like the tackle. Yeah. I mean, you technically have Borum, which is not a bad backup.
I think I'm just a little concerned that when it comes to Lucas Patrick and even Cody Whitehair, I was maybe too confident in that pairing and thinking that they were going to be able to get the job done,
Yeah, I think
and then they ended up having horrible seasons.
Horrible.
And then
I
there's
think
been
it's like that PTSD though, for real. I think because we just haven't had it for a minute. I'm not blaming you. I'm in the same boat.
But there's been some bad snaps too.
Sure. What? Iron it out now.
Yeah, iron it out now.
Now get out all that bad snaps now. Okay. When it comes to game time, but I agree. I think this is definitely I don't want to say biggest because it's not like the most exciting storyline, but like it's probably the most important storyline is because it's a true position battle that we have no idea about. Because if we look at the rest of the roster, you just named 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen are locked in. The starting running back is locked in. Starting quarterback's locked in. Wide receiver 1 through 3 is locked in. Tight end 1 through 2 is locked in. That's your offense. Most of your offense is locked in, but center. You flip it on the defensive side. Defensive end 1 is locked in. Defensive 2, question mark. We don't know that one. I would say your defensive tackles are locked in. You have Billings, and then it's going to be Javon. Your secondary is locked in all the way to your nickel, right? To your slot corner. You have all that locked in. So it's like, really, you look at this and you go, where's the only position battle? It's center. So I totally understand. And center is very important because you're hiking it. You touch the ball every play. You're basically the quarterback of the offensive line. Yeah. And you're hiking it to the most important position on the team, who happens to be a rookie quarterback.
It's so funny. When you say hiking it, I just think of dog. I have no idea why. I'm just like hiking it. I always say, like, I think I say snapping. They snapping.
I mean, that's not, that's probably.
No, I get what you're saying. But when I hear hiking,
school.
Maybe I just been out with my dogs too much this last couple weeks, dude. And oh my God.
Hiking is definitely more of an old school term because no one's, I mean, like, they don't even say hike now, really.
But yes.
But yeah.
Well, they do and they don't.
Yeah.
Anyways, like it cracks me up. That's what comes to my mind. But the defensive line, I think you're right. DeMarcus Walker, Andrew Billings, Javon Dexter, Montez Sweat. Javon Dexter, I think is, we got to hear him speak 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? I believe. Yeah, it was yesterday. Wednesday.
Well, yesterday's Tuesday.
Sunday. Is it Monday? No, it's Tuesday.
No, today is Wednesday, Dave.
Oh my God, it's Wednesday. Dude,
bro, you said that earlier. You said yesterday, Wednesday, and I was just like, I'm gonna let him ride. And then not knowing this man thinks it's Sunday. He doesn't know what day it is.
That's man. Well, I've been thrown off a little bit, man. I've been thrown off. Anyways,
that's all good.
And then you got Montez Sweat, but I think Javon Dexter's gonna have a big one. But I think the one thing that concerns me with the defensive line that is probably not because you talked about the offensive line kind of having some depth. I just don't think you don't have that here right now.
Yeah.
I think Montez Sweat looks ridiculous. He can do whatever he wants, really, when he's out there. Really excited to see the pads come on, not just for him, but I think Javon Dexter will be a big one. And I even mentioned it. I think even Tevin Jenkins as well was really, really excited about these pads, being able to actually finally hit. Of course, you got to stay on your feet. But Jacob Martin, our guy Nick from the Bear With Us podcast, he has been on him for a
while now.
I think a week now, Well, he's been talking about it on his last episode of Bear With Us podcast, Nick Whalen. And interesting. I think he could be a sneaky edge rusher, right?
Bro, I don't know.
You're not with it
to believe it. I'm not saying
you're not a believer.
There's it's the NFL. We see it all the time. Players come out of nowhere and you're like, who the hell was this? And they just ball out, right? I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I'm just saying I don't know.
Austin Booker, though.
Yeah, if I'm gonna bet on someone, it'd probably be Austin Booker over Martin. But who knows? Like, it happens every year with every team. Well, at least like decent teams. You find like this random player that plays way better than what everyone thought of, like the sleeper picks, right? So, I mean, if that's the case, then fucking fantastic, because now our defense is kind of set in. You know what I mean? Like, at least it's in a much better situation. So, but yeah. We'll have to wait and see.
But hey, I want to bring up, like I said, 100%. I meant to bring up and touch on this because it was something we weren't able to discuss on the last pod. But Tevin Jenkins spoke to the media. He did reveal kind of an update on his contract extension. You could say he's ready, right? Understandably so. But he said in June, Jenkins mentioned that his agents had contacted the Bears. They went ahead and said, hey, they never received a response. Well, on Tuesday, when Jenkins met with the media, he revealed that his side was told they have to wait until the Bears bye week, which is in October, to discuss anything contract related. Interesting. Availability is the best ability, or the best ability is availability. Tevin Jenkins probably understands that. I just think the destiny is in his hands now. So the Bears could either be paying up big time, if he plays all 17 games, or at this, they could maybe get him at a discount or choose to walk away, I guess, right?
I think a deal
I just thought that was interesting.
Done.
The Bears were like, I just couldn't believe the Bears were that direct. I don't think I've seen that.
I'd rather be upfront and honest and just be like, hey, look, we're not going to talk till this time. I'm totally fine with it. A lot of times the players, I think Saquon talked about this, and I've seen other players talk about it. Like, the contract negotiations don't get, they kind of get to a frustrating point and it affects the season. And sometimes the players will like say, okay, I don't want to deal with this. We'll discuss this later on in the season. Right. So in essence, I think the Bears are just doing that now. Like, hey, Tevin, go focus on football, and hopefully you have a healthy season. What's nice to hear is that Tevin is investing a lot more into his body, he said. He was joking about it during his presser, but he was like, I'm basically putting double the amount of money towards my body. I think it's like he's not a big massage guy, but he's getting like more massages. He got a personal chef, I think now, that's like making sure that he doesn't have a lot of inflammation in his body. And so I'm hoping that, he reaps the benefits from that. I hope that we see a healthier Tevin Jenkins, because when Tevin is healthy, bro, he's a fucking monster out there. Like last year, and there's been, seasons where we're like, oh, Tevin looks good. Like, especially his sophomore year. But I think last year he looked dominant. He was easily our best offensive lineman. And in my opinion, he was a top 5 guard in the NFL. He got injured.
Yeah.
So, like you said, just stay healthy and you'll get your dividends.
I think with him, he brings that nastiness that you need on that line, right? That the Bears have missed quite a bit in the last 3-4 years. They kind of gotten soft in some areas. So for me, some of these guys, even Darnell Wright's he's fun to watch too, especially when he's just running over people on those, running back screens or halfback screens. And I think Tevin Jenkins, I'm rooting for him. At the same time, I would love to get him at a discount.
Of course.
Because if he plays all 17 games, he's going to have a monster season, and he's going to be paid. I mean, I think there was just a guard that was, remind me his name, that was just signed, big time money.
Giants?
I can't tell you, man. Like I said, I didn't even know what day of the week it was, so I'm struggling.
Yeah, that's true.
I do remember a guard signing this week for some big time money. So I think Tevin Jenkins could be in that.
Was it the Broncos guard? I think is the one that did it. I think that's Giants did their tackle yesterday, but I think it was the Broncos. But you know what? Okay. Look, I know it's crazy.
Good problem to have, right?
Some people don't like it, but like if you're going to devote big money, I prefer the trenches. The big money for them is nothing compared to the big money for the quarterbacks and the big money for the wide receivers. You know what I mean? Like, and you're starting to see a shift in the NFL with wide receivers now, because they know they're getting paid so much. Teams are like, you know what? There's a lot of good talent coming in the NFL. Dude, we'll trade you and we'll go get
CeeDee Lamb right now in Dallas.
I mean,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. It's like, can you devote that much money to some of these wide receivers who deserve it? Or there's an influx of talent that comes in the draft next year. So if you're good at drafting, just go find your next guy. So it's harder with linemen.
Let's take a quick break here before we end the show. A lot of good talk. We're going to be coming back next week after PAD. So after the weekend, we'll have a Monday episode, likely with a special guest. Marcus Whitman should be on, that franchise guy on YouTube. He's going to kind of discuss his overall rankings. We'll get more on that. But before we move over to, our final segment of the show, kind of close out, just want to go ahead and thank you for tuning in. If it's first time, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. We go live every week, twice a week during the season. Super, super excited for what should be a really, really awesome 2024 season. But again, this show would not be here without Fanatics. It is presented by Fanatics and Sports Mockery. Again, I cover the Bears for sportsmockery.com. So check out all my work over there. You can also follow me on all socials at Dave_BFR. And then, of course, Ficky over here is a Bears content creator. He is on all socials at It's Ficky Baby. He's part of the SM network as well. And again, like I said, this podcast, this YouTube show would not be possible without our sponsors. So we appreciate you guys. Check them out. Links in the description. And again, we have our Patreon, which we just dropped our new Q&A video, which we need some more questions, please. So be sure to join that and send them in. And I'm gonna kick it over to Ficky. He does a little bit better job kind of describing kind of what we got going on over there, and of course some other things as well, right, Fick?
Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, like going on with the Patreon, it is the BFR Den on Patreon, the BFR Den. 2 tiers on there. Yep. 2 tiers on there. You can be a rookie Grizzly, Hall of Fame Grizzly, or you could be a free member if you just want to kind of see like what goes on in there. But we do free giveaways every month. We got a giveaway coming up this week. We do a mailbag episode, which we just recorded, Dave and I, where you ask any questions, we'll answer them, go in depth about it. We also have access to our private Discord where you can chat basically one-on-one with us. Me and Dave are both in there. Ask any questions, talk about anything, to be honest. And then once we get to Madden, we have our Madden League. And any other cool, like awesome behind the scenes stuff, we're going to add to there. We're trying to bring as much value to that because we're just trying to build a community of Bears fans. And like Dave said, like we wouldn't be able to do this show without y'all. So we really do appreciate that. Now, if you also want to support us as well, we do have a store, which we do have merch on, and that is the BFRstore.com. On there, we got shirts, we got hats, we got beanies, we got stickers, we got everything you could ever want. Get it for your friends, get it for your family, get it for your dog. I don't care. We appreciate all the support, and all the money from both the Patreon and the store just pour right back into the show, trying to make it better, improve it, just make everything about it better so we can keep giving you Bears content in the best way possible. So if you want to support us out that way, really do appreciate it. And also a free support, you can like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Give us a follow on Twitter and all other socials. We really do appreciate that. Now, if you are a first-time user, watcher, viewer, geez, bro, you're wearing off on me, Dave.
Long week.
Is it? Yes, it is. It has been. It's only getting longer. But if you're a first-time viewer of the show, first off, thank you. Welcome in. We appreciate it. Please give a hashtag new face gang in the chat. I love it that we already have some hashtags coming in. I'm not even finished this read yet, so appreciate it. We do this every show. If you're a hashtag OG, which means this is your second show, or this is your 80th show, which would be all of them, which is fucking fire. Please give a hashtag OG in the chat, and we will make sure to give a shout out to you before the end of the show. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. I do want to touch this comment real quick. Caleb here says Madden League eyes emoji, but yes, we are going to do that. We've been thinking about doing that for the longest. We're going to try to fill up a league. Dave and I are already in other Madden leagues, so we know how to set it up. I'm a commissioner of one. Well, we want to get one to where you guys are in there. You'll get to play us. You'll get to play other BFR Patreon members. It'll be like fantastic. But in order to get that, or at least get first access, you do need to join the Patreon. So please do that if you want to join the Madden League. And all of the links to that stuff, if you forgot what the hell I just said, which I think I did, all the links are in our YouTube description as well. Or you can hit us up on socials, and we'll definitely get back to you as well. So, back to the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we're going to be wrapping it up here in a little bit, in the next minute or so, or a couple minutes. But at the end of the day, super, super excited about what's going to be coming on for this season. We have the voicemail line that we do every week as well.
Fire.
So during games, you can call in after the game up until we do have our post game pods right away. So you got to get them in quick. But we play those, some of our favorite content. Some of them went viral on our socials, on our TikToks, Instagram. So check out the BFR_pod on all socials as well. To see that. Super, super, super fun. But Ficky,
Dave,
I think
Dave, real quick though, one question I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
How many rants do you think we have, like one crazy rant this year? Or do you think because we're not used to this, right?
Yeah.
Or do you think the season actually goes like decently well where people aren't?
No, I don't think they're going to be rants, but they're going to be beautiful. They're going to be like poems and songs.
I'm not used to
People
that.
are going to be so excited. I think there's going to be a lot to play for. So I think there's going to be a lot of passion in some of these voicemails that you guys are going to send in, which will make our post game pods, that much better. I think previewing games during the week is going to be a lot better because you're going to have something to play for instead of being, 0-4 to start the season. Yep. Or no draft pick watching, except for that second rounder with Carolina, if we still have it midway through the season. You never know. But at the end of the day, super excited. Bears football is here. In about a week, we're going to have Hard Knocks episode 1 to recap. We're going to have pads. We're going to have a game, Hall of Fame game against the Houston Texans. The Bears talked about snaps with Caleb. They're thinking about 40 to 45 during the preseason. So I don't know if that means week 1 against the Texans. I doubt it.
No,
I'm going to stick to it. I don't think he's going to play.
No, he's not playing that one.
However, if the NFL, they've made a call before to polls, hey, wait 5 minutes before you draft him. They might call in another favor. Let's say you're going to play him series, or you're going to play him, right? And you don't even have to play him a full series. If you just play a couple snaps, get the people in, get the audience.
If Stroud plays, I think Caleb plays. If Stroud plays, but I don't know.
Stroud's going to be on that bench. No way.
Look, that's the smart thing to do. I totally agree, but the NFL loves their money. So
I'm ready to see Tyson Bagent. Are you kidding me?
Bro,
That's how I'm ready to go,
though.
man. I love me some Tyson, but I do not want to see him playing during the season.
No, I went to, bro, tell me this. I went to what, 4 or 5 games last year, and 2 of them were Tyson Bagent games. I'm like, bro, come on. Funny enough, we won one of them. We almost won the second, but
yeah, he went 2-2 last year.
Actually, I saw my 3 because I was at the Vikings game where Fields got injured. That was Tyson Bagent. And then I was at the Saints game. That was Tyson Bagent.
Atlanta?
The Montez Sweat first game. And then Panthers, where we won.
Oh, okay.
Where we thought Fields was going to come back that week. Everyone was super excited. Those were the reports. And then game day, a report came out and said, he's out. I couldn't believe it. I was sick. But well, hopefully we'll have to worry about that this year. Even though Tyson's a good quality backup, and I'm glad we have him on our team. But this better be Caleb all the way for sure. I want Caleb all 17.
I agree.
I hope so.
But hey, guys, I appreciate it. We're gonna wrap this show up. We'll be back on Monday to go ahead and recap the weekend with Pads, Ficky. Go ahead and follow Ficky again, all socials. It's Ficky Baby. Of course, check out all Sports Mockery and of course Fanatics. Everything should be in the link in the description. We appreciate the support. If you're all the way through the episode and you're about to go ahead and close the YouTube tab, just go ahead and hit that like button. We appreciate it. Helps grow the show. Ficky, anything else before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, I'm just going to give the shout outs that we have here. So we got Giovanni Garcia on YouTube with the hashtag OG. Bear down. Appreciate that. Bear down. We got Tony Nakalade. Nicole. I need to read before I talk. Tony Nakalade. And I know I butchered that, so let me know how to pronounce that. Hashtag OG. I know you were in here last episode, so appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't butcher it last time too. But we have Caleb in here as well with the hashtag OG. Appreciate that. Kevin Coppernoll. I don't remember seeing this name. Hashtag OG. Definitely believe you, but appreciate it. Thank you for that. And then we have Ken. Hashtag OG. And it's Wednesday. Threw me off too, brother. I feel that, bro.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah,
this does not feel like a Wednesday to me. I want to answer a question here from Giviano Garcia. He says, when am I giving away the training camp ticket? So I have one giveaway ticket for Friday or this Friday, the first padded practice. If you want to enter, go ahead and hit the like button. It's the tweet is up on my Twitter right now, Dave_BFR. And you can go ahead and enter just by simply liking that tweet and also liking this YouTube video here. If you want to subscribe, that's great. You don't have to. But again, those are the 2 ways to enter. I'm going to be picking a winner here. It's 8:06 Central Time. So I'll probably be picking here in the next 30, 45 minutes. I have to go ahead and run it here and make sure it's fair. So I'll be getting that ticket away. So if you're not aware, thank you for Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Giovanni for pointing that out very, very, very soon. I'm hoping, I think I've given a couple away. So hopefully whoever enters this one, hope you have a great time at camp. I'll have a couple more tickets hopefully to give, or I will have some tickets to give away throughout the rest of training camp, some of those days that are in August. So keep an eye out there, but great question, and it's going to be very soon. So appreciate it.
Also, if you're going Friday, I will be there. Look for the big hair, and I'll be wearing a BFR shirt.
No. Ficky's locked in. He's got to get the updates.
You know what? That's a good point. That is a good point.
Talk to him.
Yeah, that is actually a good point. No. But prior, no, that's fair. That's fair. During the practice, I'm definitely going to be locked in recording as much content as I can. Yes. But before camp starts, you see me, come, dap up. I'll be friendly for sure. But yeah, that will be a fun time. We do have one last question here too, Dave. And an awesome compliment as well. Said Caleb, the OG in here, said, let's go. Best podcast. Appreciate that. And he said, how do you think this O-line will hold up this year?
I think it's going to be 18th in the league. I think it's going to be average. I think it's going to be maybe a little. I think their ceiling is above average.
Yeah.
But I think they haven't invested as much as you'd probably like, but it's better. I think the center position's a worry, like we talked about. But you got to love some of these pieces. Braxton Jones, big fan of his. I think he's going to only get better. Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, of course. Good. But I think the biggest X factor here is Caleb Williams, the way he manipulates, and he's a more quarterback or offensive line friendly quarterback outside of, when you came to Justin, it was brutal at times, right? Simple as that. Caleb, you're seeing it early. He knows how to navigate the pocket. He knows how to step up. I think that's a big factor for this offensive line. I think that's going to raise everyone's play. Braxton, everyone I just mentioned on that line is just going to benefit from a quarterback that hopefully throughout the season is just going to get better and better and better. And he's already really, really good at it, especially when you compare him to the previous quarterback. So
I agree. I think the ceiling is 11th best offensive line in the league, and I think their floor is like 21st. You know what I mean?
Did you say 11th?
Yeah, that'd be their ceiling.
Oh,
11.
dang, dude. I like it.
But that would
Give
be
me that. Are you kidding?
No, that would be Nate Davis goes back to Titans Nate Davis, right? Like a really, really, really good guard. Tevin Jenkins continues his dominant play and plays all year. Darnell Wright makes a jump, right? The second year he's better. And then same with Braxton Jones, just another year better. So then you're only and then your center is serviceable. That could get you top 11. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I think most likely they're going to be 14 to 17 to 18 in that range. But I would say that is their ceiling and their floor is like top of, 20, 21. So in essence, they're the middle of the pack. They're not amazing. They're not dog shit. And I can deal with that because it's at least better than what it's previously been. So
I love it.
Awesome. Well, that's it. I think that's all the questions.
All right. Hey, well, like I said, we'll be back Monday. We'll see you then.
Sounds good. Peace.